go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Indie Author Life. I'm your host, MG Hunt, and today I'm here with a connoisseur of the dark fantasy, Danielle D. Drummond. Her dark fantasy debut novel, titled A Kingdom of Curses, is set in an urban Gothic city within a traditional magic kingdom filled with witches, wolves, wolf shifters, and many more creatures, and is set to take you on a wonderful and gut-wrenching ride. So, welcome, Danielle, to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Course, it's my honor. And I know you've been super busy leading up to the release of A Kingdom of Curses. So
Mhm.
I really appreciate you spending some time with me today to talk about things to do with this upcoming
Of
release.
course.
Yes, so not too long
Exciting.
until the debut date, which is coming up in 6 days. Is that right?
Dave, that's right.
Oh my
28th of
goodness.
March. It's come around really
28th.
quickly, actually.
How do you feel? Is it exciting, nervous, or yeah,
All of the above.
all of the above? Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep,
Um, I have moments where I'm like, this is really surreal and
yep.
I can't believe it's happening. And then other moments where I completely forget about it. And I'm like, it's just a normal thing. And
Just another
then
day. Yeah,
I have a realization that, oh my God, people are going to be reading this in like five,
they
6 days.
will. And it's going to be out there for the world to see. But it's also, I can imagine, like a really exciting time because you've spent so much prep in getting it
Yeah.
ready to go. And
Yeah.
it's finally coming out. I'm super excited for you, but we'll get into talking about your wonderful debut further in this chat. But to
Yeah.
start off, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and where you grew up.
Oh, well, I'll start with where I grew up. I
Yeah.
grew up many different places, actually.
Cool.
Well, it was between Perth and Melbourne. So we spent a lot of time in both Perth and Melbourne. Growing
Melbourne.
up, my family is originally from Melbourne.
Yep.
So,
Love it.
yeah, I know my parents moved out here when they were really young. No family over here
Yep.
before I
Yep.
was born. And then after the kids were
Um,
born, they all went back to Melbourne
wow.
because family was over there. And
Yeah. Yeah. And which
yeah,
part of Melbourne were you based in?
Beau Morris.
Yep. Down
So,
near the
yeah,
beach. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Beau
Yeah.
Morris, Mentone,
Hmm.
and Bentley, St Kilda, that sort of areas. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And so you moved to Perth finally.
yes, yeah. And
Yeah.
been here ever since. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. How old were you when you made the decision to go to Perth, or what kind of age range
I
in your life?
think I was around. Honestly, I can't remember.
Yeah.
9 or 10. I was very
Yeah,
young.
right.
So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you've pretty much
yeah.
grown up in Perth then.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's got the best beaches. I shouldn't say that, but like
It's
it's
got
got.
great beaches. I'm not much of a beachy person, to
Oh,
be
really?
honest.
Yeah.
I don't like sand.
Yeah, fair enough. It gets everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a
I
bit of
love
like a,
water.
yeah.
So rivers, beautiful lakes, that sort of stuff. But yeah,
Yep.
like the
Wow.
sand and the
Amazing.
wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets too much. It gets too much. No, I
Yeah.
get you there. And as far as like your background goes, do you have any sort of like qualifications in writing or creative arts or things like that?
No, I don't, but I have been writing my entire life. So
Yeah.
I took a corporate route when I finished school,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been writing poetry since I was
Wow.
like 12. It was like all through high school, I was writing.
Yep.
I wrote plays, I wrote short stories.
Oh my
So it's something that
goodness.
I've done for as long as I can remember.
All your
I
life.
wrote
Wow.
my first full novel when I was 22. It was a romance, contemporary romance, which I
Oh
haven't
my
done
God.
anything with.
So maybe it might see the light of day, maybe
Well, I
eventually.
did pull it out a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, this is not half bad.
Oh my God, this is exciting. Oh wow. So something that
Is
was
right.
from the past might come into, yeah, and I think there's a market for it right now. Yeah.
Absolutely, there is.
You never
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
This could
So,
be
and like
okay.
I've still got the concept in my mind. Like I always knew it was going to be like a 2 or 3 book series, but it was going to
Yep.
be um. So the first book would be about one specific character, and then the second book would take off where the first book finished, but it'd be another
Yeah.
character's POV and then their romance,
Love
and then
it.
the third book would be the same. So it's a continuation of a story, but just different people's experiences.
Yep, yep.
So
That's
yeah, that
awesome.
was like my idea I had, and
It's already fleshed out. So you've done the hard work in a lot of ways.
I have.
Yeah, so it's just like what comes next in this realm of writing that you're up to, whether you want to pivot and go straight into the romance world, which the one
Well,
that you've got coming up is dark fantasy.
yeah.
So who knows? Maybe we might see I'm guessing more of a lighter side from this if it does come out.
Yeah.
But maybe you're
Yeah.
happy in the dark world.
It's probably more about time than anything
Yeah.
else, to be
Mm.
honest. I've got a lot of things in the work at the moment. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we got to get
So
into
much
that.
happening. And
Wow. Yep.
it's just finding the time to do it all.
To do
So
it all. And we
yeah.
have to
And
do it all as indies. Yeah.
that's exactly right. It's not,
Mm.
I don't have a team of people around me doing all of these things for me. It's a one-person band. I've got Crystal, a PA, who I love her to
Yes.
pieces. You
Crystal.
know,
I love it.
I know, like, shout out
Yeah.
to Crystal.
Shout out
I
to
would be lost
Crystal.
without her.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
so
amazing.
grateful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's us, it's the two of us navigating this. And there's only so much she can actually do as well, because a
Yeah.
lot of it I have to do. And
Yeah.
like, I work a full-time job. I'm at a corporate job from 8 till 5 every single day of the week,
Yep.
you know.
I feel
And
you.
then yeah, yeah. And so I'm like, my weekends are just jam-packed with things.
Stuff.
My evenings are crazy.
Yep.
I and then I have these moments where I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm like, I forgot to
I
do this.
know. Oh my God. Even sometimes I'm like, oh, I was meant to write a caption for this particular thing. And oh, have I made sure that I've put enough like stock for this particular thing? And these thoughts will be at like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh yeah,
I just need to go to bed.
yeah.
God.
Same here. My notes in my phone
Yep.
is chaotic because
Mm,
I have these
mm.
thoughts and I'm like, I just need to write down,
Yeah,
pick my
yeah.
phone up, put it in my notes, and then
That's the best way to do it though. And then I'll look back and I'm like, oh, I forgot to do that. Oh, actually, that's not a
yeah.
bad idea that I should come back to. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
try to have, because I've got different whips working, I try to have like pinned in my notes, like the different whips. And
Yep.
so the ideas will just go into that pinned note. And then if I'm
Ah,
working on it, I can pull up that. And so everything is there. But
smart.
at 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't generally think about those things. So I'm
No.
like just randomly writing stuff in different places. I'm like, I forgot what I did with that.
Absolutely. Do you ever like have dreams that are so good and then you think, yeah, I've got to like write that in the middle of the night or something like that?
Oh, okay. Yes. I am. I had COVID not that long ago,
Oh,
and I
damn.
had a bit of a fever dream.
Whoa, that's so cool. I know that's
And
like
it's
not good,
turned
but
into a 70,000 word work in progress.
that is incredible, Danielle.
It
That
is
is
insane.
like that's insane, but that's just how creatives work. Turn that
Yeah.
into gold. That is amazing.
Yeah. So
72,000
I'm
words.
just like pumping this story out. I literally, after the fever dream, now I'm not a plotter, I'm a pantser.
Yep.
I generally pants most of the story until around 60 to 70%. And then I have to plot out the end, because
Yep.
otherwise my book will go off on a tangent. And I'm like, I need to get this like to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I outlined this entire whip after that dream, a 10,000 word outline the next day. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
it was just like so clear in my head. And I was like, oh. And then I
That
sent it to my editor, and she was like, how long have you been sitting on this baby for? And I was like, 12 hours.
Oh my God. Like something had aligned in the stars or
Yeah,
whatever. Like that is literally turning like, spinning gold out of nothing because
yeah,
COVID is terrible. We hate
it's
it.
horrible.
It's the
Yeah, we do
worst.
hate it. But something great came from this.
Wow. I'm so excited to see what this is going to be. So the COVID Fever Dream project will be coming out eventually, I'm guessing.
Yes,
Oh,
will definitely. Um, I'm unsure yet if I'm going to. I'm thinking about querying it,
oh
because it's a
wow.
really. I've
You
got some. I've got
you
some
want to do it?
agent interest already, and
My
it's a
God.
whip. So I'm thinking I'm definitely going to query it, because I do
Yep.
feel like it might get some traction, maybe.
Go for
Fingers
it.
crossed. But if it
Absolutely.
doesn't, I will definitely self-publish it because it is like a Kingdom of Curses. Like
Yep.
that is my baby, but this is just
Next
something
level.
else. Yeah, and
Wow.
I'm need it out there. So
Oh, we can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. So either way, it's going to come out.
it's going to
Just
be out. Yeah,
however it happens, it will happen.
exactly. And it's very different from a Kingdom of Curses. Like this is it's more dark gothic fairy tale fantasy. So like
Very
think
popular.
Brothers Grimm, Cinderella, but
Yeah.
dark and gothic vibes to
Love it.
it. So it is very different.
Wow.
One dark window kind of vibes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Amazing.
that's kind of the vibe. So it is very different from a Kingdom of Curses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's going to be incredible. So that's just like another pivot in your writing, feathers
Yes.
in your cap, because that is, yeah, amazing to hear something so like spontaneous turned into a fully fleshed idea. It's meant to
I
be.
know. I
Yeah.
know.
I don't know whether you've read the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I'll have to like send you a link to it or something.
Please. I know Elizabeth Gilbert's
Yeah,
name. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
from Eat,
Please
Love,
send me a link.
Pray, and
Yes.
all that. So she's very like, a spiritual person, but I love how she writes in this book, Big Magic, talking about creativity being like a um something that visits you and is like a spiritual force. And if this is a bit woo-woo for some people, that's totally fine. But I love all that stuff. And she talks about how creativity, it's like the story comes to you because it wants you to tell it. It wants
Yes.
to be you it chose you to be the
So
vessel.
you. Yeah.
Yep. So I feel
I
like that's what happened.
yeah. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't a thought. I had never even this whole universe that I had created,
Yeah.
all of it, like never even a minuscule amount of creativity around that prior to
Yeah.
this moment. Like it was never a thought in my head.
That's
It
just
was
incredible.
nothing. And
Yep.
then it just was like this whole story, like it was like a
Amazing.
movie played out in my head of this
Yep.
entire story. And every single
Incredible.
scene was so clear. I had dialogue for it, everything. Like that's how I wrote 10,000 words in one day of the whole outline. I was like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
My
Yeah.
mind is blown. I honestly am so impressed because it also goes to show that how elusive and hard to pin down the creative life is. And yes, we are working our best to bring it to life in
Yeah.
projects, in books, and yes, life gets in the way. But if an idea comes and
Mm,
it's planted in you, you can just feel it in your soul that you need
yeah,
to put it out there and you need to,
exactly.
yeah, like give birth to it. I don't know. Like just, yeah, birth it to the world.
It's not a bad analogy. We talk about our books being our babies all the time,
That's
right? So
right. And it's labor to
it is.
get it out
Yeah.
there.
A lot of labor.
Yes, which we'll have to get into. Maybe I might actually segue it into a question about what a day slash week of your life looks like with the work that you're doing with the book, the work that you're doing um, at your full-time job, and then, of
Yeah.
course, I'm sure work around the home and everything like that
God.
to live your life. So tell me about it.
Yeah. Look, it's a busy day, right? It is a very busy day. I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning just to be able to fit everything in. I have to.
There we go. First
Yeah.
stop.
I
Wake up
am
early.
I'm a slow morning person. Like I don't like being rushed in the mornings, which is another reason why I wake up so early because I want to
Mm-hmm.
wake up, I get a coffee, and
Mm-hmm.
then I go back to bed with my coffee,
Yes, yes, that's
chill
me.
for like an hour. I'm like, it's like
Mm,
I don't like being on a deadline in the mornings, feeling
yes.
like I'm running late for work or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
I'm really lucky. My job is quite flexible with start and finish times. So
Perfect.
if I get in at 7:30, I can finish at 4. If
Perfect.
we get in at 8:30, I'll just stay back a little later. So that takes a bit of pressure off, which is
Mm,
good.
yep.
Um, but yeah, my work day is literally like I wake up, coffee, walk my dogs, get ready, go to
Yeah.
work.
Yep. Yeah. What kind of dogs do you have? I love our little fur babies.
Got a pug.
Oh, oh my
She's the
goodness.
cutest thing in the world.
I love pugs, and so does my sister. Oh my
People are
God. Yep.
crazy about pugs. Like they
Yep.
really are. I had a little boy run up to me at the park once. He was like, "Can I pet your pug?" And I was like, "Right."
So I would too, honestly.
I
They're
was
just the
like, "This is
best. They're
yeah."
just so lovely. So you've got a pug.
Pug and a Boston Terrier cross pug.
Oh, so they're
Yeah,
pretty much very
similar.
similar
Yeah,
personality
yeah.
wise as well, I can imagine.
She's just a chunky monkey. She just
Yep.
like lazy. She's a woman of pleasure, like leisure, I should say. She
Both.
loves her food. She doesn't
Yep.
do anything she doesn't have to do. She
No.
like looks at me sideways all the time and she's like, I don't have to move, do
No.
I?
And that's the best way to be. I wish I could be
Yeah.
like that and emulate
I
that
know.
kind of energy. And maybe I do at home.
Ah, yeah, I'm pretty much like that at home
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But my boy
Yeah.
is psychotic.
Yep. Yep.
He's
Just nuts.
crazy. I've got like two ends of the spectrums in the
Yep.
house. Like, he is just hyperactive, toys all the time,
Oh,
jumping, tail just like flipping around,
that little piggy tail.
barks at everyone, pay me attention. And she's just like, go away, I'm sleeping.
So they have those two polar opposite energies. Oh, I love them. They're so sweet. So you take them both on a walk in the morning.
Yes, it is chaos on a level. I, so he walks in front of her because he walks faster,
Yep.
but he stops at every single tree, plant,
Oh.
weed, anything. There's a leaf on the footpath. He's like, I have to stop and pee on this. And I'm
Yep,
just like,
a
dude.
leaf. That leaf won't be there the next day. You marked your territory for nothing.
Exactly. He stops at everything. And I feel like Nelly just gets he just gets dragged
Dragged.
from
Yeah.
one side to the other.
Bless her. Oh my goodness. But they're so sweet. The dynamic, it's your little
Yeah.
family. It's so
Yeah.
gorgeous. Yeah.
And I have thought about taking them on separate walks,
No.
but it's cruel because they love each other so much.
Yeah.
They get sad when the other one's not there. So I'm like, I have
Yeah.
to up with the chaos and
And
take
how
them
could
both.
you choose? How could you choose which one to take on a walk?
Can't, yeah.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that to them. So after the dogs have had a walk, then it's, I'm guessing, breakfast time and then ease into
Breakfast.
work. Yep.
And I walk to the bus stop and get on a bus to go to work, which
Perfect.
is actually a really creative time for me. So generally when I get on the bus, I'll put my music on
Yep.
and I will write a lot of notes. Like I get like little bits of, oh, I can fix this with this chapter, or oh, there's this dialogue that has just come to my head and I'll write it down. So I actually do a lot of writing, especially in the morning on my way to work. I've written like 500 words like in it on my notes on my phone on the bus going to work some mornings. Yeah. So I do actually write a lot in the mornings on the
Yep.
bus.
Yep.
Crazy.
I love
But
it. Yeah. It's
inspo hits, right? You got to take
it's your notepad. It's the notepad that's just with you all the time in your
exactly.
pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to make the
So
most of
I
it.
do that. And then
Yep.
work is just chaos.
Yeah.
Like, so corporate, it's
Mm-hmm.
very different. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of legal writing. So for
Uh,
me, I have to switch that mindset from creativity to professional,
like logic kind
which
of
can
thing.
be hard because then
Yeah.
I find like sometimes when I'm trying to switch back into the creative process and
Mm,
creative writing, I find my words can be quite corporate and unemotional,
yep. Like
and I'm like,
sterile.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like, oh, why am I writing a word like therefore in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
book?
yeah. Therefore, this is how they felt. And I'm like,
Notwithstanding,
mm.
get that out.
Oh
Like,
God. It has a time and a place, but maybe
right?
there could be a legal proceeding in the stories that you've got coming up, and
Maybe
then you can be like, hell yeah, I know how to write
I can
this
do this.
part.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually that kind of language is it falls a bit flat with
Yeah,
fantasy
exactly.
writing. Same.
yeah. So I do have to like really get myself out of that. So generally when I'm
Mm,
walking, when I come home, I catch the bus through the free zone in the city and then I get off and I
okay.
walk home. So I can really get my
Nice.
mind out of
Yep.
work mode into, yeah, something else. Because if I
Yeah.
don't, then I feel like I'm still in work mode when I get home. I'm still in my work
Totally.
clothes.
Yep. Yep.
At least when I walk home, I take a spare set of clothes. So I'm getting changed out of my work clothes. And then
Nice.
by the time I get home, I feel like a different person. It's really, yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
I
Yeah.
have to do that. Like walking home is like crucial for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to reset. Yeah, I
The
think
reset. Yeah. It's like my
this, yeah,
meditation.
meditation. I
Yeah.
was thinking about that with exercise. I mean, I know that I'm sure you're walking. Yes, it is like a exercise kind of thing, but it's more than that physically. It's like a mental sort of like reset, as you said, reset
Yeah.
for the process of getting
Absolutely.
into it.
Yeah. And I don't listen to music or anything. It's really just like staying focused. Like just, I
Yeah.
look at the river,
Yeah.
admire the trees. I just try to be present.
Yep.
So like it's quite meditative for me and relaxing. So then when I get home, I'm like,
Other stuff begins, the house stuff
yeah,
begins, and it's
the other
just like
stuff is,
getting
yeah,
out of work and whatever it is, like packing the, I don't know, your stuff away and getting dinner ready and everything, feeding the dogs.
feeding the dogs.
Feeding the
Yeah. Sometimes
dogs.
taking the dogs for another walk.
Yeah, taking for another walk. And then is there another sort of writing stint or marketing stint after dinner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's never ending. So it really depends on what my deadlines are, to be honest. Like
Yep.
um if I've got work that needs to go back to an editor, I might do that after work,
Yeah.
or I do a lot of my administrative stuff, like my Ingram Spark stuff, my Amazon stuff, setting
Yes.
accounts up, checking proofs,
Yep.
doing all of that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Social media
Social
is,
media.
yeah,
That sucks
I
me
feel
in.
like I waste so much time on
I
social media and I
do. I do
hate
so
it.
much. But it gets so like I'm just a sucker for it with the, just chatting and being like, oh, I need to get up to date with what the latest discourse is, and then I just go down a rabbit hole.
Oh, I know, but and it is going down a rabbit hole, and I have these two minds about it, right? Because I feel like social
Mm.
media just sucks your time, but at the
Yep.
same time, I meet so many amazing other authors and bookish people, and it's like networking for me as well. And
Yep.
I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't have been able to get where I am now without
Totally.
that online community.
Yep.
Like those people have been crucial in this entire process and my progress of being able to do any of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's
like,
amazing.
as much as I don't like going on there, I do it because I know that the benefits
Mm.
outweigh everything else at the end of the day.
Yeah. I
So,
think it's a
yeah.
different type of purpose being on social media when you have um not like a brand because that sounds again like very like work orientated, but when it is like a like-minded community that you find on social media, I feel like that was like almost the intention of what social media was kind of meant for.
Yeah,
That's
I
aspirational to say,
agree.
but
Yeah.
yeah, to talk to
Right.
people
I think
on
that's why Threads is so good because I feel
mm,
like it takes out
hmm
that show pony kind of side of social media, right? And
yep,
it just becomes like this forum for people to be able to share and talk and network and
yes.
communicate without all that other stuff. I
Yeah,
really love
without all the other stuff, because it's
it.
quite bare. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been much of, I'm not sure whether you were big on Twitter slash
Mm.
X. And no, neither. I was just like,
No.
whatever. But and then when Threads came along, I was like, oh, well, I like it and I appreciate it like you do.
Yeah, yeah, I really do like it. I am on X because there's a massive writing community on X,
Yep,
but I use it purely for, so there's pitching events and stuff. So I find all of that. There's a lot of literary agents on X. So
yep.
I definitely use it for that sort of networking in pitching events. And
Yep.
a lot of my interest that I have for my work in progress has come through that, which I'm really grateful
Interesting.
for.
Ah,
Like I think at this point, I've got 10 agents in the US that want me to submit my manuscript when it's finished, and it's not even finished yet. So, like, it's been really good for that,
yep.
but I don't go on there daily. And it's not
Yeah.
like Threads where I jump on and
And just
chat to
interact.
people and
Yeah.
stuff. No, it's
No.
more the account is there in the background. I use it for
Yep.
the events and for that networking purely, and then I'm off. And I won't go on
Wow.
again for like 3 weeks, maybe.
How
Yeah.
interesting. I had never heard, I have obviously heard of X and the power of like maybe internationally talking to people that are outside of the Aussie book world is powerful with that, and same with TikTok.
Yeah.
But even the same with TikTok, I just kind of go on for a bit and then I'm out.
Yeah. It's not really, uh, definitely like overseas, they have bigger connection to those apps. Like TikTok is very much, like US central,
Yeah.
and same as X. X is the same,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
but it is great for making networks, like for making good networks. So that's why I
Yeah.
keep an account. Yeah.
You've inspired
Yeah.
me. I should consider X.
Yeah.
Give it a
Like there's
go.
X and there's Blue Sky, which is
Yes, I've got that
the
one.
yeah, okay. So Blue Sky
Yeah.
was when they thought they were going to get rid of X and they went over to Blue Sky.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, we're still here. And I pretty
Yeah.
much got it just to follow the people that, like some illustrators and some other content people that I really liked on X that were moving. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I gotta get Blue Sky now.
Yeah. So I did the same. And
Yeah.
then I don't really use Blue Sky
No.
much. It's there. But when I do the pitching events, I will do both X and Blue Sky because they're generally on
Ah.
both. And I don't know if the agents are on both. So I'm
Yep,
like,
totally.
yeah,
Yep. But at least Instagram is the big one where I
yeah,
think we all come together. That's the main platform that I chat to most people
yeah,
on and everything like that. And yeah, I'm sure it's the same with you.
yeah, definitely.
I would love to ask you some more about your writing routine. And I know we, routine slash process, and I know we did talk about a little bit about your routine. But when you do sit down to write, and
Mm.
we've established that you are a pantser like myself. So when you get into writing, maybe
Mhm.
sitting at your desk that's not necessarily on the bus typing
Yep.
away, what does that look like for you?
Honestly, sometimes it's chaotic.
Yep. I could just
Um,
tell that was what you're gonna say. I love it.
like my process is not like there's no process. It is
No,
like I just wing shit. Like I'm
that's
just
the
like I don't know what
process.
I'm doing.
It's
Um,
chaos.
but one of the things I do before I sit down for any writing session is I go for a walk, and that is really important for me because and I use it. I use walking for a few different tools. It unlocks my mind.
Mm,
Whenever I get like writer's block, I'm staring at my computer screen. I'm like, I don't know what to write. I don't know how to go into this next chapter. If I go for a walk, it just unlocks everything and I'll start writing it on my phone. And then by the time I get back to my desk, I'm like, there it is. And I start copying it over
wow.
and it just flows. And I can get a good 2, 3 hour session out of that. So,
Oh my
like,
goodness.
walking is a massive part of my process.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
If I don't do it, I can sit down at my computer and stare at a blank screen for an hour. And I'll be like, I wrote 6 words, and those 6 words are very average. Like,
Hey, 6 words is better than nothing. Hyping you up any way you can because yeah, I get it. It's hard. It's hard
yeah,
sometimes to get
yeah.
into it, but you've got a
Um,
good routine there. It's most
yeah, like walking is definitely like the one thing that is always a constant in my routine.
yeah.
The other things very much vary,
Mm.
like candles or music is sometimes I have them on, sometimes I don't,
Yep. Yep.
because like being like I'm quite sensitive to that sort of stuff. So sometimes
Yeah.
music actually like
Distracts or
overstimulates me
yeah.
and I can't focus.
Yep.
So I need like the still and the quiet. And then the same thing will happen with the candle. Like the smell
The
will either
smell.
overstim me or
Yep.
calm me. And I don't know what it's going to be
No.
every time it happens. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it definitely changes. Same as where I write. I could be at
Yes.
my dining table, I could be at my lounge or at my desk. Like
Yeah.
it just depends. Um, yeah, so there's no real like static routine with that. It's the
Yep.
walking. That is that one thing that
That's the
is
one thing.
always a constant in my routine when it
That's
comes to
so
writing.
unique. And I think that's you're
Yeah.
the first person that I've spoken to where from who I'm aware that has that adopted that routine,
Yeah.
where they physically get up and walk, get the blood flowing, then get back down and do some writing. That's awesome. Mm.
I'm not joking. My second book of this series, um, I would say at least 50% of it is was written in my notes walking.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
I know.
So get up
Like
and
that,
walk.
that's I'm not over exaggerating there. If anything, I'm probably under exaggerating that number. Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
was like every time I got stuck, I'd get up, go for a walk, and it
Yeah.
would just start to flow. And then I'd be like, well, I'm just going to keep walking and writing,
This
because
is,
it's
yeah.
moving, like it's coming out of me. And I would get really scared that if I came back, sat at my computer, I'd
And then it's
lose it.
gone.
Yep. So I was like,
Yeah.
no, got to keep going, got to keep going. Just
Just gotta keep going. Gotta keep
yeah.
trying, chasing that idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm very lucky. I live a couple of blocks away from the Swan River in Perth, which is like the big
Oh,
river. So
beautiful.
I've got kilometers I can walk on
On the
like
river.
either on the grass or just on the path. So I don't
Yep.
have to worry about traffic and crossing roads or anything. I can look at
That's
my
right.
phone and write
Yeah.
without too much like disturbance and
Yeah.
distraction. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the dogs, they don't try and come out with you. No,
I
that's
don't take
not a
them.
dog walk.
No.
No, they need to stay home. They need to look after
Probably
them.
no writing if that happens.
No, because you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta pull these ones
Yeah.
along and everything. But yeah, that's a great piece of advice for people that feel like they're stuck and need to get out of the rut and physically pull themselves away from the screen.
Yeah.
So much of our days are spent on the screen, even if you don't have a day job that is in front of the
Yeah.
screen. We're always on our phones, which there's a new avenue to help with that, where in nature
Yeah.
we can be looking at a different screen, but a smaller one. So, yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I wonder, like, because I do a lot of writing at work and I write like a lot of legal documents, I'm staring at Word documents all the time.
Yep.
And sometimes I wonder if that's why I get that writer,
Yes.
because when I put Word up on my screen, I
You
am
think of
like all of a
work.
sudden, I've been doing this all day already,
Yes. And you're just like, no, I
so
don't want to
that's
go
why I think
back.
sometimes the phone, it's like I write more freely on the phone because
Yes.
separates me from that corporate Word
Yep.
document. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Um,
sometimes I think that is like the psychology behind how it works for me.
I think
I,
that's great. I think that's so perfect.
I do know that it is weird that I write on my phone a lot.
It's weird, but like it's very logical at the same time when it's just like it's a notepad and pen, but digital version. We can just pull it
Yeah,
out and just go for it.
it's essentially how I see it. I even do voice recordings into my phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. People do that. Like,
Oh,
I've
do
thought
it
about
all
that.
the time.
I think it's a
I
good
use it.
idea. Mm.
I voice record. So this is something that I do because I don't plot and I'm a
Yeah.
pantser. Like my world building kind of just like I go, oh my God, I need this to work. Like I'm at this point where part of my world needs to understand this or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I'll go for a walk, but then I talk into my phone voice recording like I'm brainstorming with a friend. So I'm like having a conversation
Nice.
with myself, kind of like speaking it out loud.
Yep.
And I generally get to what it is that I need and I can figure it out. And then I'm like, oh my God, I've got it. And then I'll be like, delete the first 30 minutes of that conversation. I only need to remember the last five.
But it works and it's
Yeah.
awesome. I think that's incredible because there's been so many times where I've been mulling over an idea on how to solve whatever plot I'm trying to
Yeah.
get to, and it literally takes me months sometimes because I
Mm-hmm.
keep running the idea over and over and over again. And I should just talk about it. I should
Yeah.
just get it
Mm.
out there rather than
Yeah.
just having it stuck in the head.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's hard when you live by yourself because you don't have anyone to talk to. Like,
Yep.
especially you don't want to be messaging your friends at that time of night because they're sleeping or they've got kids and like
Yeah.
people have their
You
lives,
could talk to
right?
the dogs.
Yeah, I chat to my dogs all the time.
I talk
we
to
live
my
a very
cat.
whim- we live a very whimsical lifestyle here. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, they love it. They do. But yeah, it's one of those
yeah, I
things
think
where,
like that whole talking it out loud, it really
yeah,
helps your brain process information, and it's just a brainstorming session. But I record it because then I can also see how I got to that moment.
yep,
Um, And yeah, and it's like if I'm on a flow, I'm better off just continuing to talk about it rather than now I need to try and find a notepad and pen and write it down. And then I lose.
Yes.
I'm like, speak into it, just keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just speaking to it and just keep going. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't have any sort of like inhibitions about listening to yourself and all that.
Yeah.
Just do it because the brain works and creativity in the brain works in mysterious
Mm.
ways.
Yeah. I have solved some massive plot holes doing that.
I need to adopt that process. My husband's going to be like, "Oh my God, she's speaking to herself again." It's like, no, but you don't understand. I need to like, yeah, I'm inspired. No, I love it. I think that you're super creative with all of that, Danielle. I think that's amazing.
It's
Getting
super weird, but it's all good.
I don't. We're all a bit weird, but we will. Excuse me. I'm gonna be in individuals, and we've
Yeah,
got an individual process. So I'll just have some water before
exactly.
I ask you about the
Mm.
start of your writing. Mhm.
Mm.
Now, I know you probably already touched on this at the beginning,
Mm.
um, but I'm curious to know what encouraged you to start writing, but then also I'd love to know what encouraged you to put your work out there as well.
Okay. This is going to be an emotional subject.
Okay, yep. And you share what you'd
Um,
like to say.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, I know. Well, the writing thing, like I said earlier, I've always been a writer. I wrote a
Mm,
lot of poetry. I wrote my first novel when I was like 22 and didn't really do
yes.
anything with it.
Yeah.
Um, and then I definitely lost a period of time where I didn't do any writing. I lost all of my creativity. I stopped writing poetry.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I think I was trying to make myself fit into a box that I didn't fit into, if that makes sense.
Yep, totally.
Um, I feel like I
Mm.
always thought I was a little odd growing up,
Hmm.
right? Like I
Hmm.
was into magical things and fairies and crystals and witches, and I believed in ghosts and all of this whimsical stuff. For me, it was
Yeah.
that was where my mind lived.
Yep.
And I got to a point where I was like, I can't be that person anymore. I need to be an adult, you know?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
put it all
Yep.
aside.
Yep.
No more playing with toys kind of thing.
Yeah.
Go and do a
Yeah.
corporate job, 9 to 5, be an adult, buy a house, do all of these things.
Yep.
Um, and it definitely affected my mental health,
Hmm.
doing all of
Because
that.
yeah, you couldn't be yourself.
Significantly affected my mental health because I wasn't
Right.
myself. And it was like, it was almost like the truth of me was a dirty little secret, if that makes sense. Like that's how it
Hmm.
felt,
Yeah,
which
I get you.
didn't sit well with me either.
No.
And, I had a couple of partners that, weren't great as well. So they kind of
Yeah.
helped fuel that feeling.
Yep.
Um, but then I moved to Bali when I was 35, 36. I moved to Bali. Yeah.
Oh
So I
my
moved,
God.
I took off, packed up everything and left.
Wow, that's
Um,
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big change.
Big change.
Yeah.
Necessary
Um,
change, I can imagine.
yoga, and I got back in touch with like crystal work and stuff. Like, I don't know, it just kind of reopened that part of me up again, living
Yes.
there and disassociating from this lifestyle or these expectations that we have in Western society of how someone should be, you know?
Should be. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the key word. Mm.
it is, right?
Mm. Hmm.
Um, and it started opening up my creativity again. While I was there, I started writing music and I wrote all these songs, and it was so cool.
Amazing.
Then I came back to Perth and lost it all again.
Ah, the
Because
environment.
like get back into the Western way of living, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, I have to have a watch again. Oh, I have to get up and do a 9 to 5 job, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it took a couple of years for me to kind of reopen that door again. I started
Yeah.
to realize mental health was declining again. And I was like, no, this is why. It's because I'm not being creative.
Yes.
Yeah. So I started writing poetry again and then started
Yeah.
writing music again.
It's amazing.
Um, and I had this scene, the ending of my book that I'm releasing. I've had that in my mind for a very long time.
Yep.
And one of the things that I started doing was reading again, reading a lot again. I was reading all
Hmm.
these books. And I never really, I was reading a lot of traditional fantasy though.
Hmm.
Uh, and I knew though my story did not fit traditional fantasy. There was
Yep.
a different element. Now, it wasn't paranormal or anything like that, but it was like this other element.
Yeah.
And I picked up Crescent City and
Oh,
started reading it.
yes.
And Crescent City was the book that opened me up to, oh, you can have you can
Yes.
have a fantasy, a high fantasy set in a more modern world.
Totally. Yes.
And
Yes.
that opened up maybe I can write the story that I had this ending for. And so, yeah, I sat down one day and I started writing. I didn't have anything, nothing.
No.
Like I said, I'm a pantser.
Yep.
I didn't have anything. I was like, I'm just going to start writing. And then boom, I was like 3 months later, a whole story, like a whole novel came
Three
out.
months. Three
Yeah.
months.
I wrote it in 3 months.
Incredible. Oh my
It was
God.
crazy.
It's crazy, but it's amazing. I wish I had the speed like you do with that. I know we're all different, but it's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
and look, by no means is my first draft ever nice. Like it's just
Oh, that's
writing,
everyone's.
right? So three
Yeah.
months of literal verbal diarrhea. Like I love to um I love to overuse words.
Mm.
I'm like, wow, I just rambled on for like, 3,500 words
Yeah, you
there. And
can trim
probably
some.
only 1,500 of them are need to be in this chapter.
But it's better than not knowing how to like say what you want to say. And if you've got something you can edit. But yeah,
Yeah,
I get what you mean.
yeah.
What an incredible
Like,
story, though. It's
every single action this person is doing around the room.
maybe not,
Right.
but like it matters to you to put it in
Oh
there.
yeah.
But yeah, wow.
So like that was like kind of how I started writing again.
Yeah.
It was really much to do with like a lot of it had to do with my mental health
Yeah.
and
Mm.
just my my sense of self,
Mm.
um finding peace with who I am and accepting who I am, and that these
Hmm.
quirky thoughts that I have
Yep.
are not so crazy and weird. I mean,
No.
like, yeah, some people they are, right? Because not everybody is creative, and that's fine. But for
Seriously.
me, it is so important. Like,
Yeah.
I walk around my house and I have conversations with myself, but I sing them, like
This is you.
arrange
That's
what
you.
I'm doing in a singing voice. And I'm like, why do I do these weird things? But it's my
It's
brain.
you.
It's so
Yeah.
that's the creativity in my head just wanting to spill out. And then when
Yeah.
I stifle it all,
Yeah.
I just become this shell of a person who feels unsure and insecure. And
Yeah.
because I am unsure and insecure because I'm not being who I'm supposed to be.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people struggle to find that authenticity because the world will try to stifle it. There's no
Yeah.
room for, as much as we like to hype on, like, oh, you're your own person, make your own decisions. Well, put that into practice, and it's actually
Yeah,
quite hard to do.
exactly. It
Yeah.
really is.
Hmm.
Like the people at my work, they are amazing, but the second, and they know that I'm releasing my book, but then they ask me about it and I start telling them about it and then
Yeah. And then
lose
they'll,
them. They're
yeah,
just
it
like,
just switches
oh,
off a little bit.
that's
Yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why is this weird? You know?
It, that's it. And it won't appeal to everyone. People aren't
No.
going to get it. That's their
Yeah.
thing as well. But the people
And
that do get it appreciate it so deeply.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think the beautiful thing about writing, and especially with fantasy, and this is something that I really love about fantasy, is
Mm.
that the topics that you can approach,
Hmm.
the trauma that you can explore on the page
Yeah.
without it being so confronting
Yeah.
and
I was thinking that, or literal, or
literal. Yeah, like you can
yeah.
explore these topics, you can heal from these things
Yeah.
without it being a self-help book that is like,
Yes.
you know, this is how you should
This is,
react,
and some
how
people
you should
want like a
respond.
instruction manual on how
Yeah, some people
to
do.
Some people do, they don't want to have this something like a nebulous idea of like just try different things. But
Mm,
fantasy books and what you're talking about here is
mm.
exactly where I like to pick up
Yeah.
my information from on how to live my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just kind of validates me, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that thought wasn't so, or that reaction wasn't so wrong, or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And
Mm,
I've definitely healed from a lot of trauma writing
through
all of
writing.
this stuff as well. Like
It's
being able to
amazing.
explore it on page was
Mm,
uh
it's cathartic.
really therapeutic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. That's the power of creativity and also coming back to your roots because it never
Mm,
goes away, the
mm,
passion. From when you were saying you wrote poetry and
mm.
things like that when you were 12. I'm the same as you. It just never went away, even though I'd wanted to do something similar. Go to uni and think that, oh yeah, put the toys away. I'm
Yeah.
going to
Mm,
go into this world and forget about writing and things like that, or
yeah.
bringing the stories to life. But the blessing slash curse, whatever way you want to look at it,
Yeah.
it never goes away. And I'm so glad
No.
you've leaned into it and embraced it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think it's a good time to find that again
yeah,
because, and I understand my society's, my parents' concerns about me wanting to take that sort of route because back then there was only one
yeah.
option, right?
Hmm.
Traditional publishing or traditionally
Yeah.
getting picked up, which, whether it was acting or poetry or
Yes.
writing or music, it back then it was like this luck factor. Not
Yes.
everybody gets it. You have to be,
Exceptional, all that.
exceptional, this
Yeah.
sort of stuff. Whereas now we live in a world where it is accessible to be
Yes.
able to make a career out of it. And not
Exactly.
even, it doesn't even have to be making a career out of it, right?
No.
It's accessible to be able to explore and put yourself out there to
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
like we've got this
Mm.
amazing opportunity,
To tell your
to be able to
story.
do that now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All you wanted to do is, I can imagine, just put out your story
Yeah,
and
just
you've done
write
it.
and put it
Yeah.
out there, like
Yeah.
whether I get 100 people reading it or 1,000, I don't really care.
No, and we don't. Sure, it'd be great if, like, all of
Yeah.
a sudden we get a movie rights deal or something like that. Awesome. But I know that you're the same as me and a lot of people that I've spoken to, where that's kind of like not that's secondary to
Yeah.
the amazing feeling it is to put out this story that you've always wanted to tell.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who even aren't writers and even your friends at work who maybe don't understand the plot of it, I know that they would still deeply respect that you've gone ahead and
Yeah.
written the damn thing
Absolutely.
and put it.
Absolutely. And not
Yeah.
one person I've spoken to, and this just goes to show how much of our own mental,
Yes.
how much of our blockages is our own mental blockages, right?
Yes. Yep.
Not one person has said I was silly or stupid for writing a book.
Absolutely.
Not one.
Hmm. They respect it.
In fact, everybody's been like, wow, you did what?
Yes.
Like you've done what?
And we've got to tell ourselves that because all
Yeah.
the time we think, it's just our hobby, it's what we do. But there's so
Hmm.
much work. It's the hardest hobby I've ever picked up.
Yeah. I mean, it
God,
takes up all of my time.
that's
It's so
it.
expensive.
Yeah, it's so much brain energy and we got to give ourselves a pat on the back because not everyone will do this.
Yeah.
Will put out the book and that's why we've got such a great community of people that we can
Yeah.
talk to who get it as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've got to give ourselves a lot of credit for going out there and doing it because it's so much hard work.
It is so
Yeah.
much hard work.
Speaking of hard work, that is paying off in 6 days after the for the
Yeah.
release, but it's already paid off because it looks amazing. The cover looks amazing. You
Yeah.
know me, I'm a bit of a fiend when it comes to covers. And do I judge a book by its cover? Perhaps, but I can't help but love, 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 love when I see an amazing cover, which is A Kingdom of Curses, and I'll have to insert a little picture of the beautiful
Yeah.
cover. And for those who are just listening to it, I'll have to describe what the cover looks like. But there's a dagger on the front of the
Mhm.
cover. It's a gold one, and the background is like a bluey with a bit of like rose colored, different like, yeah, petals or some light
Petals,
flickers.
yeah.
Petals. Yep, yep.
Yep.
So that's kind of the vibe of what we're going for. But I would love to discuss your upcoming release, A Kingdom of Curses,
Yeah.
The Emergence.
The Emergence, yeah.
The Emergence.
Mhm.
So I would love, if you can, to tell us about the initial idea and the process and all the lead up that's been to get to, and I know we haven't reached it yet, the 28th of March, but
Yeah.
everything. Tell us everything as much as you want to
Well,
share.
I think we covered some of it.
That's right, we covered.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start.
Well, I'm very curious about the tarot reading kind of
Ah,
element that goes into it.
yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
I've really recently discovered that I do like a good tarot or like witchy voodoo in my books because I just wrote a dark romance and there's like another witchy voodoo person in it. And I was like, why do I keep putting these characters in here?
I love that too. People that know me know that I love the tarot and the astrology and things like that. So please
Yeah.
indulge me. Tell me more.
So the tarots play a two-prong approach, right? Like, so it's at the very beginning of the book, page
Yes.
to get her tarot card. Like, she goes to a seer and she gets her cards read. And it's
Hmm.
very much the seer telling her to be wary or to get out of the situation that she's in now because it will
Hmm.
serve her no good. So, like, the cards are saying, if you get out of this situation, this is what's going to happen. You're going to blossom, you're going to bloom, all of this.
Yeah.
But there's they work in two ways.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
follows the track of the entire series. So everything that page goes through in the entire series, each one of these cards will represent that
Oh.
whole process of her for the entire. So it's not actually just about that one person. So when she's getting her cards read in that moment, she thinks it's about just this one person, this one situation. But it's
Hmm.
really about her destiny and her entire, like, what she's going to go through to get to that end point.
Yep.
And so yeah, it was really important for me to kind of drop that right at the beginning because
Yes.
I want then when people pick up book two, they'll be like, oh my God, the second card. This is the
That's
second
where
card.
it
And like book
matches.
three is like, this is the third card. Like, I really wanted that.
Does it help if you have like a knowledge about tarot to kind of, if you do know something about the meaning of the cards, does that kind of help you with your, give you clues?
Absolutely. I mean, look,
Okay, cool.
the tarot reading, she gets told what the cards mean
Oh,
anyway.
okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like you do,
You'll
the
know.
seer tells her what all the meanings are.
Yeah,
Um, but you can also, if you knew more about it, because it's all very surface level, because there's only so much you can put in.
yeah.
But if you did know tarot, then you would probably be able to see the Easter eggs that
You'd
I've
be like,
laid in
ah,
with that to everything
mm-hmm.
else that comes
I'm gonna
forward.
have to brush up on my tarot knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, is there like a reference to like the upright and reverse or that kind of thing, or is it just like that?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
So
This is
there's
going
definitely that
deep.
you need to know both meanings. Yeah.
Yes, you
She
do.
has reversed cards in her
In her
reading.
reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love, love, love that concept because it does, like, yes, there is a foreshadowing of some future stuff that's already laid out in the cards. But
Mm,
just like when you get like your own cards read, there's still so many interpretations on how that is going to play out. So
absolutely.
I think it's
Yeah.
like an
And
amazing way to put it up like that. Yeah.
yeah. And
Hmm.
I think that's like why I really loved doing that because it was like those cards that she got were definitely like crucial to that current situation. The
Yes.
reason why she went to see the seer in the first
Yes.
place.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so it makes sense that Paige would only see it as that. But then as
Hmm.
the story progresses, you're like, oh, maybe this wasn't about that after all. Maybe it was
Exactly.
about, yeah,
Something else going to be far more magical and
yeah,
enchanting than she
yeah,
ever
imagined.
realized. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. I love
Yeah.
tarot. Are you into astrology and things like that as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
my daily co-star readings sent
Oh
through.
my goodness. Are you a water sign or do you have water in your chart or things like
I'm an
that?
earth sign.
Oh, are
Yeah.
you?
I'm
What are you?
Taurus. So yeah.
Same. I'm a Taurus as well. Oh my goodness. Okay, which
Are
date
you
is
an
your
April or a
birthday?
May
I'm a
Taurus?
May. I'm a
I'm an
May.
April.
Oh, tell me which day, because my sister's a April
Oh, I'm the
Taurus.
26th of April.
Oh my gosh, you're so close
No.
to my sister. No,
Oh, you could have
almost,
been
almost,
close.
almost. She's 29th. But yeah, the
Oh,
Taurus energy. Love it. Love it.
yeah.
That's why we
So
get along.
I think that's why walking like
Mm,
resonates with me.
the
It's that
earth.
earth, like being
Yeah,
in nature. I do really think that is, yeah.
must be something there. Is your rising also an earth sign? If you know,
I
I'm not sure, is he?
don't know what my rising
Because I was gonna
is.
say, like, there's for me, and I'm still a baby, kind of like looking into astrology and stuff. Like, it
Mm,
sounds very like mystical and emotional, a connection to your
yeah.
creativity. So if you have a look in your co-star app, you'll have to let me know what your
Yeah, I will. I
the
will
placements
actually.
are and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's really
I know.
interesting.
I only,
Yeah, yeah, you
sorry,
say.
I only just discovered the other day that they have the placement charts. And I was like, oh, I've never seen this before. So yeah, but I haven't looked into it yet.
You can send me, and I will like I can break it down for you.
Oh, please.
Yeah, because
I'll add
it's
you on the app and we
oh
can
yes, I need to just duh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I need to get my app up again and use it. But yeah, because I was speaking with another author, SK Stapper, and
Oh,
she
good.
is like a triple threat air sign. Oh, sorry, I'm going off onto um
That's right. I love this.
astrology. Oh no, I love the woo-woo stuff too. But she is like a I know she's an Aquarian because she's got the same birthday as my mum. So she's Aquarius sun, um, Libra moon, and like a Gemini rising. So those are like the three earth sign, sorry, air signs.
Good
And I just thought,
signs.
wow, there's like a real sort of like creative, energetic
Yeah.
push towards communication. And going back to the earth with stuff with Taurus, yeah, I
Mm.
think we're the same as each other, where creativity flows a lot more through being in nature and environmental,
Yeah.
impacted by
Absolutely.
the environment and things like
Yeah,
that. So
absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
so cool. I learned something very
I
cool
know.
today.
And then I
Me
also
too.
read my own tarot cards every day as well. So I
Oh,
do a tarot pull every morning.
yep.
Just like, what do I need to know today? Cards, like what's going on?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to do that with a week. Like, what's the message for the week? And then when my
Yeah.
friends come over sometimes, or I go over to their houses, I bring the tarot deck. I'm like,
Tarot
okay,
cards. Yeah.
past, present, future, let's go. Or my
Yeah.
friend will be like, oh, Mom, can you bring the cards? I need some advice about that. Look, I'm still a novice with it as well,
Well,
but
I don't pretend to be,
yeah,
anything other than a novice, but
yeah,
I do feel like it definitely helps me.
yes,
Um,
yeah, it's
and
aligning.
it's interesting because when I'm shuffling, I'm always thinking, oh, I'm going to pull a card, I'm going to pull a card, and then like
It
two
doesn't.
cards just fly out, and I'm like, oh, this is what I
Oh,
need.
this
These
is
are the
what
cards. It's
those are the
telling me, and I'm
messages.
like, okay.
Some of it has been so like poignant and so relevant that
Mhm.
I kind of just can't ignore the power of whatever is
Oh,
out there.
I agree.
Yeah, the
Like my
power of the
cards
placements.
yesterday basically said, like something you have been working towards has come to fruition. Like it is now happening, like this moment. And I was like,
Duh. Yeah, it's kind of like,
oh,
yeah, you
okay.
just told me, you
I
just told me
know.
what I already know. No, no, but like that's the best kind of feeling when things are aligning. And going back to when you were saying about um, getting in touch with your creative side again, I think that you've probably felt like everything after maybe not everything coming after it because life gets in the way, but I can imagine it was a big weight off your shoulders and things just kept falling into place with
Yeah,
the direction that you wanted to go in. We're
yeah.
almost at the
I,
release of A
I
Kingdom of
know.
Curses. Yeah.
But honestly, like it's been a ride. It's been
Mm.
hard, but it really hasn't been that hard.
Yep.
Like the obstacles haven't been as big as I thought they were going to. Like I thought this was going to be really like trying time for me.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, there's been moments where I've been in tears because I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't do it. But
I get that.
for the
Yeah.
most part, everything's just kind of fallen into place. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I think was what I was supposed to do.
It's aligning.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
had no intention of self-publishing.
Yep.
I was going to query and put
Yep.
this out. Um, but my father got diagnosed with cancer.
Oh,
And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
it was like this moment of we didn't know like how long he would have or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was quite aggressive, quite bad.
I'm sorry to
He's
hear.
doing great now though. So,
Oh, that's
he's
amazing.
on some meds and he's doing radiation therapy and all that. But
Whew.
at that moment,
Yeah.
I was
Mm-hmm.
like, it could take me years to get an agent or to get picked up by a publisher, and then years before it gets on the shelf, even after that, if it does, right?
Yep.
And I was like, the only thing I want out of life in this moment is for my dad to see my book on a bookshelf or to have a
Yeah.
copy of it, right? And that was
Yeah.
all I really wanted in that moment. I'm going to cry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's
So
amazing.
that was
Yeah.
that moment for me where I was like, swallow your pride here. You can do this,
Yeah.
like you have the power to do this. It doesn't have to be dictated by somebody else's
Yep.
um
What they're
want
interested in or
yeah,
the
like
marketing stuff. It's
yep,
irrelevant.
it's all irrelevant.
Yep.
So,
The
you
story is
know,
most important.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm really looking forward to release day, but for
Yeah.
me, the most proud feeling that I've had in this entire process was the moment I got my author proof
Yeah.
and was able to give my dad a copy of that. Like
Oh,
that moment
amazing.
there is priceless. It is
Yep. That's what
I
life's
don't
about.
like I'm excited about the release. It's going to be great. But that moment is the moment that will stick with me for the rest of my life.
Yep. 100%. I totally, totally understand that. That's the
Yeah,
most important part of why we do what we do. It's the creative part. It's the getting the story out there to
yeah,
show this is me and this is my
yeah.
passion in physical form.
Yeah.
It's I really appreciate you telling that
That's all right.
story because I know that that will resonate with so many people as well. It
Yeah.
resonates with me so much. I really
We
appreciate it.
spend so much time, self-doubting ourselves and waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect
Nah,
moment. There is
nah,
only right now,
only right now. There's only right
Yeah.
now. And for people that are still thinking about getting into it and giving it a go, again, yes, you can go for it later on. There's always time, but if you feel it within you, there is nothing stopping you from just getting out there and just trying it. Because also, as you said, life is fleeting. Life can be short and change in an instant, but what doesn't change are the foundations of your creativity that have always been there
Yeah,
that can come to life. Yeah,
exactly.
it's
And
amazing.
the most amazing people I've ever met in my entire life, I have met through this process as well, like
Yeah.
lifelong friends.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
beautiful human beings. I've not yet met one who like in any of their feedback or anything have been cruel or nasty or like
Yeah.
everyone's so supporting and
So
uplifting.
supportive because we
Like
see each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we see each other, but also I feel like it's because we know how hard it is. We know that struggle on the inside, right? So why would we put another person down when we know
Yeah.
exactly what they're going through? It's
Yep.
so scary to not just put those words on paper, but then to show them to the world because we are exposing our deepest, darkest thoughts and desires and
Mm-hmm.
feelings and emotions. We're literally cleaving ourselves open for the world to see.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
does not get more raw and vulnerable than that.
No,
And
it doesn't.
and that is scary. And it is hard,
It's
really hard.
it's so
But
rewarding too.
it is so
Yeah.
rewarding,
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
personal thing. It's a personal journey that we
Mhm.
all go on if we're brave enough to take it as
Mhm.
well. So it takes
Yeah,
guts.
it
And
does.
there will be people that won't get it as well, as I know I said before. And that's fine. You got to do what you got to do to put yourself out there and express your story. But it definitely has given me a lot more respect, even for, the big name publishers and the people that are out
Yeah.
there that I read some of their good reads. I'm just going to tangent here. Sometimes I read their good read reviews and I wonder why some people can be so callous and so
Yeah.
like weirdly hateful when as a writer, and I'm sure you feel the same, it's like
Yeah.
I know I might not enjoy the story that that author has put out, but I would never go so far as to leave an awful scathing review about that because I know how much effort it takes to do that, and you know too. Mm.
That's exactly right. At the end of the day, and I always try to come back to this point. I'm like, but they wrote a book.
Yeah,
They
they
wrote a
wrote a
book.
book.
It might not be good, but they wrote a book and they put it out there. Like, not many people can do that. And most of the people that leave these 1, 2 star reviews have never written a book in their life.
That's right.
You know, and you're like, you
That's
do it
right.
and try and do better then,
That's exactly right. And that's why we should never be,
Mm,
interested in critiques that are not, I guess, that are shallow and
yeah,
because of course, when there are when we do get feedback that is constructive, that's like gold. That's like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, like thank you for
exactly.
engaging
Yeah.
with my work. Oh,
Yeah.
but I should probably steer us a little bit into talking about the future projects. So I do want to quickly ask about A Kingdom of Curses. How many books is there going to be in the series?
So it is a 4 book series with one and a novella as well. So I've got a novella in there. Yeah. And so
Amazing.
I've got obviously A Kingdom of Curses, the Emergence is done. Book
Yep.
2 is written. It's with beta readers at the moment.
Wow.
I'm hoping that will be out around January, February next year.
Perfect.
Book 3 has started already,
Oh my
but I've put it
gosh.
on hold
Yep.
because I want
Oh,
to get all the beta reader feedback back and make any developmental edits that I need to do.
yep.
Because I don't want to go through what I went through with this one. I wrote book 1 and book 2 straight after each other,
Yeah.
and then made all these changes in book 1, and I was like, well, now I need to make these in book
True.
2.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the follow-on thing where you have to remember
Yeah.
like what I'm going to do with
So
this.
I decided
Yeah.
book 3's on hold until book 2 is like developmentally done, and then I'll go back and do book 3.
That's
But
amazing.
I've probably, I think I've done like 20 chapters of book 3.
Yep.
The novella is not the characters we know. The
Yep.
novella is actually way back in the past, and
Yep.
I'm more than happy to give this info away. But the prologue is basically like the prologue is the start of the novella.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so when you read the prologue in A Kingdom of Curses, that's where your novella is, right? Yeah,
Wow.
that's that
Wow.
time.
That's
And it just
awesome.
gives all the back history. And it's in book 3 that we're learning all of that. Like we're actually getting the truth of a lot of things. So I'm hoping that people will be able to read the novella either like in conjunction with book 3 or around book 3. So it doesn't give anything away.
Yep.
Um, and then obviously book 4 is the finale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That will be the
Yeah.
finale. Wow. That's going to be an
Yeah.
amazing selection of books. Like you've got that all planned. You've got your work cut
Yeah.
out for you. Oh my
I
gosh.
know. I,
That's
I
amazing.
do, but I don't. I feel like this is just
Ah,
it's
yeah.
it's an easy story. It's not really.
I know.
Sorry. But
Yeah.
like in my mind, it's an easy story because
You've
I've been
got
thinking
it.
about this for years. Like these
Yeah.
characters now are developed.
Yep.
I know them. I
Yep.
know how they're all going to react. I know the story. It's just the time putting
It's
it
the
down on paper.
time that's going to be a bit of the killer. So where else can people get your books? In
So
the
the indie realm,
Yep,
definitely.
indie realm.
Yes.
Love
So,
that.
and that will be where my signing is next week.
Yep.
So, yeah. And then the To Be Read bookstore, which is in Midland.
Yep.
Um, so I'm hoping to get my books into a couple of stores over east, but
Yeah.
I haven't done anything with that yet because I was trying to wait for it to come out. It's easier
Yeah.
that way.
Just suss out the
Um,
vibe.
I
Yep.
was trying to remember the names.
Oh,
Woodstock,
the wood is it
The
in
Woodland Collective. Is that
Yes,
what?
Woodland
Yeah,
Collective in Bendigo,
yep.
I think. Is it?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping like I've got a contract with them. I just haven't signed it yet. So I'll be sending that back to them
Yes.
now that the book is all final. So then they can go through and
They can do their
we
thing.
can figure out how we're going to do it.
Yep.
So I know they'll be taking it as
Oh,
well. So
amazing.
yeah,
They're so great
yeah.
there. Love,
I
love, love them.
know.
They were the first place that picked up my short story.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, and I had been querying for a little bit, and I understand like short stories are just like, not
Mm,
everyone, not every bookseller is going to, want to take it on because it is short, and
yeah.
but the Woodland Creative, the Woodland Collective, shout out to
Mm.
them for honoring me to give them my short story because that was like a momentous achievement. And as you said, even just like holding the book in your hands is a momentous achievement. I feel like another next step is when it's in a
Yeah,
bookshop. Yeah.
I agree. Honestly, like, I mean, obviously the book is available on Amazon as well,
Yes.
Kindle Unlimited and stuff. But yeah, I feel like when I see my book on a shelf, I'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, wow, like there
Oh
it is.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Like I
Yeah,
really do appreciate seeing it in the flesh. And so
yeah.
you've got the paperback and an ebook
Ah,
and
yeah,
hardcover, is that right?
hardcover. But the hardcover is so the hardcover on Amazon, it's not really available in Australia because they don't
Ah,
do printing here for the hardcovers. So if you want it, you have to
really?
buy it from the States and ship it over. And Amazon's trying to sell it for like $85. It's
Oh.
ridiculous. It is
Oh.
not that much.
Yeah, I was
People
gonna
don't
say.
do it. But if
Yeah.
anybody does want a hardcover, you can come to me directly because I
Yes.
have stock and I will ship it out. I will put it on my website,
Hmm.
um, and my link tree, and I'll have a link on my Instagram account. The hardcovers are beautiful. It's got the
Yeah.
normal cover, dust jacket,
Yep.
but underneath it's got a discreet cover and it's really lovely. Yeah, I had another artist do something for me there and it was just gorgeous.
How special is that?
Um, so yeah, it's quite special. I really like the hardcovers. They're really
Oh.
beautiful.
Yeah, so don't buy the
Um,
Amazon one. Oh, well, you can if you have to,
oh, you
but
can, you absolutely can.
go
But
to
yeah,
Danielle
you can also
first.
get the hardcovers available from Barnes and Nobles and Waterstone. Have got it on their websites.
Yep.
I don't know what the shipping would be like to Australia, but I'm sure they have like local shipping for those
Yeah.
because they purchased it through Ingram Spark. So
Oh, okay.
they
Yeah.
would
Yep.
print it at Ingram and then ship it over, I'm sure.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so you can definitely buy the dust jacket version on there, and I think it's like 49.99 or something for the
Wonderful.
hardcover copy. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
amazing.
um, it will also be available. Fabled picked it up as well, so
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I think I did see something like that on your Instagram, maybe about that. That's
yeah,
incredible. So,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
that's
really
big.
excited. We're still like things are in the works at the moment,
Yep.
so but
Keep on
everyone will
us.
know like as soon as I can share the news properly, obviously I will share it with the links. There'll be pre-order links and everything for it, but I'm really excited. They've gone above and beyond. There will be in like chapter scene art,
Oh,
everything in there. Yeah, they're I'm kind of a little blown away by what they are
me
doing.
too.
It's so incredible.
Oh my
Yeah, it
God,
is
that's
like amazing opportunity. I never expected that in a million years. So I feel really
yes,
honored.
it's yeah. I am
That is,
so happy for that is it's a dream. And to see the artwork that, I love an illustration and things like
no,
that.
I
It's
know,
going to be incredible. How
I know.
exciting!
So
Everyone's just
exciting.
falling apart.
It's
It's
so
just, it's
exciting.
all aligning. It's
Yes.
all, everything is working out how it's meant to be.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
creativity and the hard work that you've put into it, it's paid
Yeah.
off, I would
It's
say.
it's
Yeah,
starting to pay off, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And
I've
yep,
been pretty amazed at how like it's taking off more than I thought it would.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And I think from my perspective, yes, you would feel surprised, but I'm not surprised because it looks incredible. I think that everything is been done so well, marketing wise, hitting the demographics and the audience and tapping into a big passionate fan base in Instagram. It's all been done
Mhm.
so well. And the book will attract the right people to read it and
Yeah.
people will appreciate it. And they already are. They already are. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So, so happy for you, Danielle. And so, where can people find you on social media and everything like that?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Danny Drummond author, and I'm
Yep.
on TikTok as Danielle Drummond author.
Danielle Drummond. Yep.
And you can find me on X as well if you want.
You can find you on X and on
um,
Blue Sky and
yeah, and
Threads.
Facebook and
Face.
Threads, Facebook page. Yeah, so all the usual places. And my website will be going live in the next week. And that is just Danielle D. Drummond at, no,
Yep, no
www.danielledrummond.com.
problem. And
Yeah.
I'll put everything in the description and the show notes for people to find all
Cool.
this stuff. But
Yeah. And I'll have
honestly,
the
yeah,
the
it's amazing.
site set up so people can buy the hardbacks directly, like the
Yes,
stuff jacket versions directly from me.
from you.
And if
Yep.
anybody does buy it, they'll get a signed version with a little bookmark and stuff for them. So
More
I got
incentive.
I got my bookmarks the other
Please do.
day,
Please do. Yep.
and we've got like character art on it. Let me
Oh
find one.
wow. Oh wow.
It's so cool. So this is one of my bookmarks. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Can you see that?
Yes, is this Paige?
That page,
Yes,
yeah.
the beautiful
Yeah.
green
And then
dress. And so on
that's
the
the
back it
back.
says, one forgotten sin, 1,000 deadly
Deadly
consequences.
consequences.
Perfect. That is
Yeah.
so exciting.
Yeah.
So, for people that are just listening as well, we had the character Paige in a green dress and she was sitting on, is it a marble plinth or
It's a concrete, yeah.
concrete seat? And then on the
Yep.
back it was green with some black text that read out that wonderful quote that is so
Yeah.
alluring,
And then it's
so
got
alluring.
the title in there as well. And there's a necklace that Paige
Necklace.
wears. And that, yep.
A
Yeah.
golden dagger, is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm so excited, Danielle. Oh my God, I can't wait. Bring on the 28th.
I
And I know this
know.
episode will probably air maybe I post them 2 weeks after we record it. So by this time we will have it all out and the reviews will be coming in and people will have their hands on this amazing book. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Danielle. I really, really appreciate all your insights into some incredible topics on creativity, on being true to yourself, and embracing the craziness and chaos that is the creative process. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had such a great time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I love doing this.